Welcome to my channel, Issues Uncovered. In today's world, where social media is curated to perfection, resumes are meticulously polished, and first impressions are calculated to the finest detail, the pressure to appear flawless has never been greater. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that in order to succeed, we must present a perfect version of ourselves at all times. Yet, what if I told you that the opposite might be true? What if, in the pursuit of perfection, you might be missing out on something far more valuable, the power of imperfection? Welcome to the Pratfall Effect, a fascinating psychological phenomenon that reveals how making a small mistake can actually make you more likable, approachable, and even more successful in some cases. The Pratfall Effect flips the script on what we traditionally think of as appealing behavior. Rather than hiding our flaws, embracing them might be the key to connecting with others on a deeper level. In this video, we'll dive into what the Pratfall Effect is, how it works, why it has such a strong impact on human relationships, and how you can apply this concept in your own life to boost your likability and strengthen your personal connections. The Pratfall Effect is a term coined by social psychologist Elliot Aronson in the 1960s. It describes the phenomenon where highly competent people become more likable after making a small mistake. For example, if a person spills coffee on themselves or trips while giving a presentation, these small mishaps actually improve their likability, provided they are already perceived as competent or skilled in their area of expertise. The term pratfall itself refers to a sudden, clumsy fall, often evoking the image of someone losing their balance unexpectedly. In the context of psychology, a pratfall represents an unintentional slip-up or mistake, which, according to Aronson's research, can make a person appear more human, relatable, and approachable. However, the pratfall effect is not a universal rule. Its power only works if the individual making the mistake is already seen as competent or skilled in their field. If the person is perceived as incompetent, the same blunder can backfire and make them seem careless or unqualified, rather than endearing. This paradox is what makes the pratfall effect so intriguing. When competence and humility collide, the result can be surprisingly positive. To better understand the mechanics of the pratfall effect, let's look at the original experiment conducted by Elliot Aronson in 1966. In this study, Aronson wanted to examine how small mistakes would impact people's perceptions of competence and likability. Participants listened to audio recordings of a person answering quiz questions where the speaker's performance varied. Some versions of the audio included a small mistake, a clumsy moment, such as the person spilling coffee or making an awkward remark at the end of their response. Other versions of the recording depicted the speaker answering questions flawlessly, without any mishap. After listening to the recordings, participants were asked to rate the speaker's likability and competence. The results were striking. Listeners rated the person who made a small mistake as more likable, but only if they had performed well on the quiz in the first place. When the speaker had been answering the questions confidently and competently, the addition of a minor mistake made them appear more human, which in turn increased their likability. However, when the speaker's performance was average or below par, the same small mistake caused listeners to rate them as less likable. In this case, the blunder reinforced perceptions of incompetence, and the speaker was judged more harshly. Aronson's experiment showed that competence combined with vulnerability, as evidenced by a small mistake, can make a person more relatable, warm, and appealing. But without competence, the mistake merely underscores incompetence. So why does the pratfall effect have such a profound impact on human perception? The answer lies in the psychology of human connections and our natural tendency to seek authenticity and relatability. Perfection, while often admired, can create distance between you and others. When someone seems flawless, it's easy for others to feel inferior, jealous, or even resentful. Perfection can be seen as a barrier, something that sets an individual apart from the rest. In a world where many people struggle with their own insecurities, witnessing someone who seems to have it all together can feel daunting and alienating. When we make mistakes, however, we invite others to see us as human beings rather than idealized figures. Imperfection adds warmth and relatability to an otherwise polished exterior. A person who is highly competent, but also humble enough to acknowledge their flaws, is far more approachable than someone who seems unreachable in their perfection. Humans are naturally inclined to connect with others who show vulnerability. Mistakes humanize us, making us more relatable to others. When someone admits to a flaw or openly laughs off a small mishap, they signal to others that they are not trying to be perfect all the time. Instead, they are showing that they, too, experience the same challenges and imperfections as anyone else. This relatability is key to building stronger, more authentic relationships. When we see others as flawed and human, we are more likely to trust them, engage with them, and form meaningful connections. Self-deprecation is another social tool that often leverages the Pratfall Effect. People who are capable of laughing at themselves, whether it's telling a funny story about a past mistake or acknowledging a minor flaw, often come across as more down-to-earth and approachable. This is because self-deprecating humor allows others to see that the person is not overly concerned with maintaining a flawless image. Instead, they are comfortable with their imperfections and don't take themselves too seriously. Self-deprecation can be a powerful tool in building rapport and making others feel at ease in your presence. It shows that you don't have a fragile ego and that you're open to laughing with others about the everyday struggles that everyone experiences. Now that we've explored the science behind the Pratfall Effect, let's discuss how you can use it to your advantage in real-life situations. Whether you're in a job interview, giving a presentation, or just interacting with others socially, the Pratfall Effect can help you seem more likable, approachable, and authentic. If you're great at what you do, don't be afraid to show your human side. Acknowledge that mistakes happen and embrace the little blunders that naturally come your way. For example, if you're delivering a presentation and accidentally make a small error, don't try to cover it up. Instead, laugh it off and keep going. By doing so, you show your audience that you're confident and self-assured enough to handle imperfections. This doesn't mean that you should deliberately make mistakes for the sake of it, but rather that you should stop stressing over being flawless. A little slip-up here and there can actually make you more endearing to others. One of the most effective ways to leverage the Pratfall Effect is by telling strategic stories of your own embarrassing moments or minor mistakes. This can help build rapport in social situations, job interviews, or networking events. For example, if you're in a job interview and are asked to share a time when you faced a challenge, you could tell a story about a mistake you made and how you learned from it. The key here is to ensure that your self-deprecating story doesn't come across as fishing for sympathy or trying to seem overly humble. Instead, aim to tell a story that highlights your growth and ability to handle mistakes with grace and humor. For the Pratfall Effect to work, the mistake or imperfection must be real. Trying to fake a flaw in an attempt to appear more relatable will come off as disingenuous and may even have the opposite effect of what you intend. People can usually sense when someone is pretending to be less perfect than they really are, and this can erode trust rather than building connection. If you're genuinely good at what you do, don't feel the need to manufacture imperfections. Simply allow your real human moments to shine through. Remember that the Pratfall Effect only works when you are already perceived as competent. If you want to use small mistakes to your advantage, you first need to build a reputation for being good at what you do. Whether it's your job, your hobby, or your area of expertise, developing competence is the foundation of the Pratfall Effect. Once you've established your expertise, embrace imperfection as an added bonus. Your competence will be the bedrock, and your mistakes will make you even more charming and relatable. In a world that often values perfection above all else, the Pratfall Effect reminds us that imperfections are not only inevitable, they can be a powerful tool in building authentic connections with others. By embracing small mistakes, acknowledging your humanity, and letting go of the need to be perfect, you can increase your likability and forge deeper, more meaningful relationships. So the next time, don't stress. Instead, embrace the moment and let your authenticity shine through. You just might find that your small blunder is the key to making a lasting and positive impression. So go ahead, spill the coffee. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more debates like this.